From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate. Arnab Goswami on the debate.
Now that he is in power, Farooq Abdullah is changing his tune. He's taking on Pakistan, believe it or not, saying no talks till Pakistan spreads terror in the Kashmir Valley. And says, rightly so, that Kashmir will never be Pakistan. We agree with you, Farooq, for once. You're correct. And I'm glad that even if for selfish reasons, Farooq, who till yesterday was demanding talks with Pakistan, talks with China, is suddenly changing his tune. But this is too much. Dr. Shahnawaz from Badgaon, killed in Ganderbal yesterday. Faheen from Bihar. Anil Shukla from Madhya Pradesh. Mohammad Hanif from Bihar. Kaleen from Bihar. Sashi Abrol from Jammu. Gurmeet Singh from Punjab. All killed on the Lashkar-e-Toiba and the ISI's instructions. This is just going on and on. There are so many incidents, one after the other. Last 3 months, such an escalation. It's too much. It's too much. We demand a surgical strike on Pakistan, and we know, you know, I know, all of us know, that if their intent is clear, why is our not? And if our intent is to avoid escalation with the Pakistanis, and if that intent, that we don't want to really escalate it with the Pakistanis, if that intent is holding us back, let us be clear, the Pakistanis have already escalated. What are we waiting for? A bigger strike? What are we waiting for? Dozens more killed? Viewers of Republic, Pakistan killed workers who are working on the Z-More tunnel. A tunnel that will provide all-weather connectivity to Sonamarg, Ganderbal, Ladakh, and make our military ready to move at quick speed, rapid speed at short notice. We must now double down on the completion of this project and seriously evaluate a crippling strike on Pakistan. This has happened just days after Jaishankar visited Pakistan. It has happened just days after Omar Abdullah was sworn in. And I cringe, and I'm sure you do as well, when I see pictures of some pseudo-Indian journos, shame on them, taking selfies and pictures and giving smiles there, standing with Nawaz Sharif as if they've just been from a birthday party, having gup-shup with him on India-Pakistan relations. These journos lack a sense of self-esteem and reality. Like the now dethroned ex-editor of a newspaper who runs a small petty website these days. These journos as well probably want to see some Aman Ki Asha action with the Pakistanis. They should learn, if nothing else, than from their patron saint Farooq Abdullah, who is himself changing its own colors now. But viewers, forget all that. There has to be a military response. The NIA, National Investigation Agency, can only investigate. It can't solve the problem. And there's nothing to investigate. Pakistan is behind this. The NIA can't solve the problem. Who can? The armed forces can. The military can. The Air Force can. Let's debate.
I, Omar Abdullah, do swear in the name of God.
5 days after Omar Abdullah took over as Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister, the valley witnessed the deadliest terror attack of the year. Pakistan-backed terrorists infiltrated Kashmir and gunned down 7 innocent civilians. The mastermind behind the dastardly attack has now been unmasked. Sajjad Gul, the Lashkar-e-Toiba commander, is suspected to be the mastermind behind this act of cowardice. There is massive anger against Pakistan.
ये बहुत ही दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है। जम्मू कश्मीर का प्रशासन पूरी तरह से इन परिजनों के परिवारों के साथ है और मुझे लगता है कि जल्द ही जिन लोगों ने इस घृणित काम को अंजाम दिया है उनको निश्चित रूप से भुगतना पड़ेगा।
The Ganderbal incident is the second attack in just 3 days. It was on 18th of October when a non-local was killed in Shopian. With Pakistan going back to its old sinister agenda, there is a growing chorus that India should give it back.
Sushant Sareen, General Dayal, strong panel tonight taking on Uzma Kardar, MP from the PMLN, and Yasir Janjua on the debate this evening. General Bishambar Dayal, starting with you out here, what is the intent and how should we deal with it?
See, Arnab, the intent is very clear. The intent of Pakistan is to see that democracy does not flourish in Jammu and Kashmir. That they send a message across the world that these elections and everything going on in Jammu and Kashmir towards development and opening up of Jammu and Kashmir is all orchestrated by the Indian state and there is militancy there. Their effort is to prove that it is still a disturbed area. And the second very attempt is to strike at a place where we are, where there's a pan-India presence, where we are doing something very constructive to join the tunnel will open up India to Leh and Ladakh in a different manner. So the whole thing is, and there's a pan-India presence of people there. So terror and nothing else. And this is going on for quite some time. It's not just the last incident or an incident before that. But it has been going on from last 5-6 months. The effort of the mastermind is nobody other than Master Munir sitting in Lahore. I mean in Pakistan, the chief of army staff of Pakistan Army, the chief of Pakistani intelligence agency. I mean, they are the people straight away responsible for it. They are masterminding it. They are orchestrating it. They are putting resources into it. And of course, their finances, which are sitting in China and probably now even maybe some guys may be there, even from America, I mean, financing them. Otherwise, the state was absolutely in a broken state. What should India do? I mean, I've been on a number of shows, that there is a disorder in the world. There is nobody in the world today to stop wars or bring peace into the world. And why are we waiting? Whom are we waiting for? I think we have waited enough. It is time to start operation absolutely and take on entire POK. I've been saying start with an objective of 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers. I'm not saying go for a war in one day and hold your borders and let's not. It's time to take LC completely. And complete operation.
See, it's such an easy operation right now, and I'm not saying it's also we have such an advantage over them. We have such an advantage over them, and it's going to be so simple.
If you want to strike at some command elements, command structure, if you have to go down to Islamabad, do that. Do it where it hurts, and it hurts Pakistani Army and ISI. These are the people to be sorted out, and nobody else. Till you do not sort out ISI and Pakistan Armed Forces hierarchy, which is totally against India, which is totally against. So until you do that,
I want to tell you this, viewers, that tonight I can say with a great deal of confidence that the response across the country has been of such unity, and people have been killed. Dr. Shahnawaz was from Budgam in Kashmir. Fahim Nasir was from Bihar. Anil Shukla from Madhya Pradesh. Mohammad Hanif from Bihar. Sashi Abrol, and we are told his mortal remains are just reaching his home in Jammu, and we are going to be getting a live feed from that. Gurmeet Singh from Punjab. The whole country so united, so together. And as we are running those pictures, I'd like to go to the full frame for a minute, please, ladies and gentlemen. These pictures coming in from Jammu, where, full frame please, the mortal remains of Sashi Abrol from Jammu are going to be reaching his house. The whole area has come together. Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, Kashmiris, non-Kashmiris, those from the valley, Kashmiri Pandits. Everybody, these are the scenes we've seen all over the country, and there is tremendous unity and tremendous sadness. There's a great deal of anger as well, ladies and gentlemen. These pictures from Jammu should remind us that we all stand as one, and we must remember these pictures because when we hit these Pakistanis hard, when it hurts, when they cry, when they weep, when they stand in their National Assembly saying we have got rumors that India is going to hit them, let them remember these pictures and know that when we take our revenge on them, we will make it hurt. Ladies and gentlemen, going back to the debate this evening right now, the NIA team is there. These pictures from Jammu are of the final remains of Shashi Abrol from Jammu coming together, the whole country united and awaiting a military response, which we cannot rule out. Nobody can say, but we know the government's going to act this time really hard. Uzma Kardar is on the debate. Uzma, see, this is not going to be of any use eventually, and you control these people. You must realize that we will build our tunnels. We will invest as we are right now. Go back, please, off the pictures for a minute. Thank you. I'm speaking to Uzma right now. Thank you, producers. Yeah. So we will build our tunnels. We are going to be investing tens of billions of dollars into Jammu and Kashmir, into the Kashmir Valley, and we will uplift the lives and bring industry and peace into the Kashmir Valley, which is beyond your wildest imagination. You, as in being a country whose chief export continues to be livestock, and of which a substantial chunk of your livestock you export are donkeys, you cannot think of the level at which we operate. However, having said that, what do you gain from this? Sushant is on the debate. Very seriously, Sushant, you can be on the other side. The thoughts are very seriously there tonight. The whole country is together. What do you gain from this? And do you not expect to be hit back like the Hezbollah was hit back? Right?
Arnab,
like the Hamas has been hit back. Like the Hamas has been hit back.
I can only sympathize with your condescending attitude.
It is condescending. I agree, and I admit it is condescending.
Let me
we can only be condescending with you.
Arrogance and mudslinging will not get you anywhere. I'm amazed to see how you people are, how your favorite pastime is warmongering. You are constantly warmongering. We will do this. We will attack you. We will do this. We will, show your armed forces. We will show your ISI. I know you're scared of our army, and I know that you get nightmares because of our ISI.
You don't have an army.
But the point
you don't have an army. You get beaten every day by the Afghans. You don't have an army, Uzma. Don't fool yourself. You have to realize, Bishambar Dayal can tell you, every day you get thrashed by the Afghans. You can't even fight the Afghans. You don't have a standing army.
No.
You don't have a standing army. Bishambar, tell them, Bishambar Ji and General Dayal.
You cannot accept the fact
Their corps commander's house was raided by supporters of Imran Khan and was which army are you talking about? Their corps commander's house. I mean, a corps commander's house, his guard, is everybody disarmed, and people overran that house, people overran number of their establishments. So there is no army there. There is a ragtag army being controlled by the ISI and being controlled by certain elements which are totally anti-India. And this is the right time. Geopolitically, geostrategically, this is the right time.
No, the problem is this is the right time. No, 1 minute. Uzma Ji, I in fact sympathize with you for a different reason. For a different reason. I sympathize with you for a different reason.
For the people, try to give them some health facilities, try to give them education, try to give them some freedom. You have snatched away their fundamental rights in Kashmir, in Nagaland, in so many other places. Look at Khalistan. The way people are sick all over the world, the way you're murdering them, the way you're
Uzma Ji, I'll have to, Uzma Ji, with respect, I'll respond to you. Uzma Ji, I'll respond to you now.
What you are doing.
Uzma Ji, I'll respond to you now. I'll respond to you now. Please hear me now in entirety. Uzma Ji, listen to me in entirety.
Stop that.
Listen to me in entirety.
It's not going to do you any good. if innocent people get killed, nobody is, saying that that's a good thing. Our people, look at it. In Karachi, we had this suicidal blast, and our Chinese friends and some Pakistani, citizens, they got killed. So we are facing terrorism ourselves. Now, if you have some terrorist, incident in India, well, investigate and see who's doing it. You people, at the drop of a hat, you start blaming Pakistan. You have no idea how to handle these situations. Have an investigation.
Now that you're finished, I'll get Sushant into the debate. And with a brief intervention from my side, Uzmaji, now listen. Now listen to me, Uzmaji. Listen to me. See, listen to me. I ask you this question with all seriousness, And I don't know, Uzmaji, when you were born. You may have been born in the 1930s or 40s or 50s, I presume. But you can ask anybody who was born in the 1970s or later that your history books say, according to your history books, because you're a brainwashed person. You see, you brainwashed your people. You according to your history books, you say that you won 1971 war. Do you realize that? According to your history books, you say you won the 1971 war. You said Osama was never in Pakistan. You are such absolute liars. You refused to take your bodies back during Kargil. Your former Federal Minister of Interior refused to accept Kasab's. You refused to accept that Kasab was a Pakistani. You refused to accept Kasab was a Pakistani.
You guys.
No, don't keep saying you guys. When I'm giving you facts, there are no you guys situation out here. The fact is we have a choice now, Sushant, and I think our only choice is a military choice. Our only choice is a military choice. Sushant.
So I have a couple of things. One, I think we need to debunk this nonsense which Ms. Kardar is talking about, freedom in India, freedom. We've seen an example of the freedom in Pakistan. They have a government which had lost the election, which has been planted in office because of the army. We've seen how they passed a constitutional amendment. We've seen that they have an army which is so interested and so invested in conquering the Supreme Court of Pakistan that they have given away large swaths of territory in KP and Balochistan, where militant groups and terrorist groups have set up their own checkposts. They're losing control over large swaths of territory, but they're more interested in occupying the Supreme Court. Which, good for them. I don't have a problem with them. But when she talks about freedom, it's laughable when she talks about freedom, because you have MPs who have been kidnapped and who are forced, who are intimidated, their wives, their children, their houses are raided so that you force them to vote in a particular way. This is freedom as far as this lady is concerned, but she's in power right now, so she can say whatever hell she wants to say. That is one. Secondly, look, the problem is that with the Pakistanis, if they think that, carrying out this kind of a dastardly attack in Jammu and Kashmir is going to stop the progress in Jammu and Kashmir, they have another thought coming. You look at, if anybody's been to Muzaffarabad and has been to Srinagar, and I've had the opportunity of going to both places, Muzaffarabad is a dump, as is Mirpur, right? And if you look at Srinagar, it's better than any city in Pakistan. It is far more vibrant, it's far more lively, and because terrorism has largely been crushed in Kashmir, you have a situation where you now have cricket matches taking place, you have marathons taking place, all kinds of things happening, tourism is happening. So obviously the Pakistanis cannot countenance it. So clearly they are trying to disturb the peace out there. Now, the question then arises, what are we going to do about it? Look, there are a couple of problems out here on our end. One is that, we've had this thing that, okay, fine, some of these terrorists will carry out these operations, we'll finally get to the bottom of it, and they'll be eliminated. And they'll be ruthlessly eliminated, and we've been doing that. Over the last couple of months, there has been a spike, mostly in Jammu, but one or two incidents in the valley as well. And I'm very confident, given the kind of security presence in the valley, the kind of intelligence grid and security grid we have, these guys are going to be caught and they'll be sent to meet that 72 hoors or whatever they are hankering for. So that's going to happen. But I think, Arnab, look, the problem, however, is going to be that if we are talking about a military response, then we need to think through how that military response is going to play itself out.
Correct.
What I mean by that is that, we carried out the surgical strikes, we carried out the Balakot strikes, but we did not make it into a kind of a policy imperative. It was a one-off kind of a thing. My advocacy is that it needs to be a properly honed strategy on how we are going to hit back, how we are going to retaliate, both overt and covert. That is one part of it. Secondly, and this is the flip argument. And by the flip argument, what I mean is that, look, and where I have a bit of a doubt, we look at what the Israelis are doing. And the Israelis always retaliate, even for the smallest attack, they will retaliate overwhelmingly. But the problem is that they haven't actually been able to solve the problem. So at that level, then one thinks that maybe you have to learn how to live with this problem. That does not mean not hitting back. Certainly you have to hit back. But if you think that hitting back is going to solve the problem...
No, but there's a difference here. You see, Sushant, sorry, because you gave that example. So sorry. We only want to take back what is ours, which is POK. Who the hell wants to take over Rawalpindi? It's that kind of terrain. The question is, do we open up multiple fronts and make this more than a single strike?
Arnab, I agree with you. I don't think we covet any of Pakistani territory. We want what we consider to be an inalienable part of India. So we don't have any other territorial claims. Ideally, we should have had way back in 47 on places like Lahore and others where there was a Hindu majority. But forget about it. That's past history. But our claim on POK is certainly alive. And I agree with you on that particular part. See, but here is the problem. Whenever you wage a conflict, the other side also has a vote. So it's not as though we will carry out doing what we are going to be doing and the other side does not get a vote. Now, if we are prepared to escalate to a point, I don't have a problem with it. But I don't think we can adopt a very cavalier attitude that if we carry out a major action, then there will be nothing happening on their side. They are weak, they are bankrupt, they have huge amounts of problems. And the moment they have to shift troops to their eastern front with India, that means they lose even more control over the western part of
which
Pakistan,
is exactly
right?
what I said, which is what Bishambar Dayal says. So they will become strategically unstable on their western border as well, isn't it, General?
Arnab, I hope you invited me on the show.
I do.
It will weaken their army in their own nation, in their polity. I mean, today the army is having a free run, like Shanji is saying. It's having free run even over the Supreme Court, everywhere. But the army needs to be weakened. And one thing, when I say all-out war means we go right through the desert, we go right through the sea, we go right through Karachi, we go air.
Exactly.
I'm not even saying that. I'm saying we have a territory, we have a LC, and I'm saying do not go for any strikes and come back and then wait for next 6 months. Please continue a well-planned, well-thought-out, well-planned, I'm saying strategically well-planned. Balance yourself in desert, balance yourself in Punjab, balance yourself in the sea, balance your air defense systems, and then go in the POK. Go fast, have an objective of just 5 kilometers. I'm not saying overrun it. Go the next 5 kilometers. Pakistan does not, to my mind, does not have the wherewithal to withstand a campaign for 2-3 months. Do not go like the Russians did. The Russians also, they do not go all out. They give pauses. They then again escalate. So we'll have to change our strategy and we'll have to strike them. But if you leave them here, if you go one strike, come back, wait again, they're not going to stop because this is being orchestrated by completely ISI. If we think there is any homegrown element in it, if we try to say that this is a dissension by some political group in India, no, this is purely ISI. And they're doing it that timing-wise, they're doing it now to say that it is a disturbed area, that people run away from there, that our investors run away. We are on a mission to develop J&K as good as any other part of the world and develop India. India is developing. I'm also not saying that go for a war which impedes your economy. And ultimately, the Israel economy will also suffer after this war. And there are no Americans with us, but to help us economically. We need to strategize our own strategy on our own terms, on our own timings, and strike them hard. It will not hurt Pakistan by killing any amount of civilians, by killing any amount of terrorists. It will hurt when you hurt their command centers, when you start eliminating Pakistani top echelons, their brigade headquarters, their div headquarters along the LC, their headquarters there. Till you don't go 5,
you
10
see, I think on the point of agreement, and I've spoken to so many experts today, spoke to a lot of stakeholders all through the day. The point of agreement that everyone is on vis-a-vis Pakistan is that it needs to be multi-pronged. It needs to be a little prolonged this time, right, vis-a-vis Pakistan. And we must engage the Pakistani army directly into this, because you see where we need to draw them in, right, and then hammer them. It can no longer be these surgical strikes on their territory, send our fighter jets in, hit them hard, show the proof, and move on. It can't happen. We have to draw them in, as much as we can quickly into a conflict and then run them over. Major Janjua, you were saying something.
I wanted to say something. Finally, thank you very much. You realize that you invited me as well. Shallow sloganeering is what you guys do all the time on this television station. And you can keep doing it for as long as you want. The fact of the matter and the reality is, what we did to you with Abhinandan, we shot down your aircraft, and we have it as a piece, as a monument sitting here. And we gave Abhinandan back to you as a living example of what we can do.
No, 1 minute. Can you go back here? Can you go back here? You stop, I'll tell you, talk like a military man. You speak like a, 1 minute. Yes. You speak with such ignorance. Listen, Major Janjua. Listen, Mr. Major Janjua. Who told you to give Abhinandan back? Who told you to return? You got scared. You got scared, you returned. You couldn't hold him for 2 days. Either you were scared of him or you're scared of us. Why did you give him back? Why did you give him back?
Why are you forgetting the facts?
Why did you give him back? अरे हिम्मत थी रखने के लिए, दम था बोलने का, रखने का दम था,
हमने घुस के मारा,
रखने का दम था। अरे अभिनंदन ने घुस के मारा और आपने उनको वीआईपी ट्रीटमेंट करके वापस दे दी। किसने बोला देने को?
जो भी किया,
क्यों दिया? नहीं, जो भी क्या है, अरे कायर हो, नंबर 1, कायर हो भाई तुम। अरे भाई आप क्या बात कर रहे हो? अभिनंदन, he comes in your nightmares or what?
Listen,
he comes in your nightmares.
पाकिस्तान आर्मी का
अभिनंदन वापस क्यों दिया आपने? डर गए? डरपोक है आप,
अर्नब गोस्वामी,
ये बोलने वाली बात नहीं होती है। Let me show you a place. Answer like a military man. Don't speak like a traffic cop on military issues.
We will strike back at a time of our choosing, and we told you.
अरे भैया, what strike back?
48 hours. This is what we can do.
What can you do?
Empty sloganeering like you do here on the television.
What can you do?
And to remind you, the biggest terrorist
you lost a F-16 with a MiG-21. This is not that you can do.
Pashambar Dayal Sahab, I listened very patiently when you were talking. I did not interrupt. Pashambar Dayal Sahab. I did not interrupt. So hold your horses. I just have to remind you what the Canadians have done to you in last 1 week and last few days.
Canadians?
This is what terrorism is.
Canadians?
This is what state terrorism is.
Canadians?
This is what you are doing.
Canadians are crying. Their government is going to fall because they took us on. Khatam hai bhai.
They have shown you
we are so powerful.
Canadians have told what you are. So you are trying to divert the world attention by telling the people. And finally, I must tell you,
primitive economy.
You are doing development
economy.
In Indian occupied Kashmir. I am so happy that you are doing all the development, because eventually.
Where were you in 1971?
So
Where were you in
personally?
Where was you in 1971? Where were you in 1971? Where were you in 1971?
Where were you in 1971?
Where were you in 1971? No, where were you? I'm asking you. Where were you?
You were pissing in your
Where were you?
Kashmir from you.
Where were you?
Yeah. Okay. 1971.
Where were you?
Let's right now here talk about 1971. You go. How many divisions did you post there, and how many we had, and still you could not. You had to infiltrate people. Shame on you, Arnab. Go and read history. Go and read history of the Western Front.
Sushant is so funny. Sushant is so funny.
Yeah, I am funny.
They lose it when we tell them that. We see, Major Janjoy, you need to understand. We in India having a very we in India are having a very serious discussion on the extent, manner, and nature in which we need to hit you, right?
That discussion
grow up.
I'm hearing for last 3 years at least.
Where were you in 1971?
That discussion you're having for
Where
last
were you
3
in
years
1971? शर्म आती है बोलने में?
And you have not moved.
शर्म आती है बोलने में? फौज में थे क्या?
We have shown
ढाका में थे?
We have shown you what.
ढाका में थे आप?
We have shown you.
आप ढाका में थे?
Listen.
क्या?
What were you doing there?
Why this nervous laugh?
What was your prime minister? What was your prime minister, the biggest terrorist, doing in Dhaka then? He is part of Mukti Bani, who was infiltrating and intervening into the sovereign affairs of a country. Can't you be ashamed of yourself for that?
Listen, don't talk. Listen, don't talk about our prime minister. Have some shame. You saying these
don't you dare take the Prime Minister's name. Major Janjua, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is one of the most respected statesmen in the world right now and the leader of the world's largest democracy and fastest growing economy. Stay in your place, export donkeys and prepare to be hit. I want Sushant to respond to you. See, I was having a serious conversation. Then Major Janjua comes and talks like this. What is this?
Prime Minister as a terrorist.
Now please be quiet. Reduce his volume.
Listen, I have a couple of points. You know, what Major Janjua gets wrong is what the Prime Minister had said. 1971, I was a kid at that time, but I know what the Prime Minister was basically saying was there was a lot of resurgence in India, people who were supporting the freedom movement in East Pakistan, now Bangladesh. And as among the young people who were supporting that movement, he was also putting in his part by demonstrating on the streets of Delhi or wherever it was. He wasn't in Dhaka. So I don't know where Janjua has got this Dhaka thing from. Secondly, he talks about, you did covert action and you sent so many divisions, etc., etc.
Okay, I go.
We disabused the Pakistani Punjabi Muslim of that myth which he had created around himself that one Muslim is equal to 10 Hindus. Their former chief Ayub Khan used to say that. A lot of others have maintained this myth. So at least that got shot down, because if supposing we had sent 10 divisions and you had one division, you were equal to us, and yet you lost the whole country. So that's, so now if you want to get down in that kind of polemics, I can do the same thing. But let's talk about serious stuff.
Okay.
And the serious stuff is, Arnab, here is the thing. Look, we have a number of options. The kinetic option, which you seem to prefer, is one option, but it's not the only one. There are 500 other options which we can exercise, some of which we exercise, but in a very piecemeal manner. It's not as part of a larger strategic kind of a plan that this is what we are going to do, this is how we are going to deal with the Pakistanis. Now, we have come to the conclusion, at least at the governmental level. Forget about the Pakistanis. Let's not talk too much about them. They're irrelevant as far as India is concerned.
Absolutely.
That's the attitude. Now, I personally think at one attitude is correct, but at another level, it's problematic. It's problematic.
It's hugely.
There is a nuisance value to Pakistan, right? And you have to limit that nuisance value of Pakistan.
I repeat, the only way to do that, Sushant, only way to do that is the military way.
Why don't you try it?
That's only one way. That's part of
try
a larger...
You're such a big army, such a strong army, such a strong economy.
Okay, viewers, we will. We will. Don't worry.
I've been heavy.
We know we have a strong army. Thank you, Major Janjua. We are coming. See you soon. See you soon, I'll see you there. And where were you in 1971? Where were you in 1971? Where were you in 1971? Ladies and gentlemen, see you soon, I'll see you soon. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chief Justice of India